Hey y'all, what's going on? Recently, there have been a lot of attempted break-ins and a couple of successful break-ins in my neighborhood. So I wanted to take this time to make a quick video on a couple of inexpensive ways that you can better secure your home, So in this video, I'm going to be talking about, how to better secure your front door, how to better secure a sliding glass door, ways to better monitor your area, A lot of this stuff is pretty inexpensive. I think the most expensive thing that I've got that I'll be showing today is probably like 25 bucks. So stick around and I'll show y'all how Julian does it. All right, so for my first trick, I'm going to be showing you, this is super easy to do. Just replace the screws on these locks. Now, I've already, I can see that one, it looks like the kind of screw that I'm going to be using, but this one down here is not. So you see right here, you can see that one, this is a small screw. I don't know if I can get the camera to focus. There we go. So this is a small screw. You can see that it's rusted, one at the head and then two right here at the top side, the part that's actually important. So that rust could actually snap that screw off, making your latch a little bit, weak. So one of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to replace that with a much larger screw, and you can see the size difference, and that's going to make it a little bit more difficult for somebody to break that. And everything is nice and clean. And what's great about this is that you're just reusing the same hole. So it's not like it's anything really difficult. It doesn't require pre-drilling even more. You just use the same existing hole and then replace the screws that you've got there with slightly longer ones. Just take a look at that, for example. That's the screw that is holding my deadbolt. Not that great, especially when you compare it to what I'm putting in there right now. Now, that one wasn't that bad. The length was great. The issue is that it's old, it's rusty, so I don't trust it too much. This one doesn't really matter so much because it's that exterior little thin storm door, but I'm doing the job right now, so might as well. All right, next I'm going to be installing one of these hook and latch style locks. I'm going to put this on my front door, but obviously you can put it on any door. I prefer these over the chain locks just because I feel like with chain, you've got much more leeway where somebody could actually like kick the door and just break that chain off. On that note, is just like with the front door, these are the screws that it comes with. So again, there's a big difference. I'm going to be using the smaller screws that I've got this time, but there's a big difference if you notice on the grooves here versus here, and then the length, of course. I feel a little bit more safer with these, so I'm gonna go ahead and put these on. So this is an easy job also. You can pick up these type of locks for probably around $5 to $7 at Walmart. It's super easy to do. It only requires what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws. So it's real simple. Get yourself a 1/8 drill bit, and if you're using these screws like I am, it's just a number 2 Phillips head. One thing that you do need though is a drill with a little bit of power. So I'm going to be using an impact drill. This one I picked up at Harbor Freight, but the reason why you want that is because over here this is all like that aluminum or metal type stuff. So a regular drill may not have the power that's going to be needed to actually bust through this stuff when drilling. So I'll show you real quick a perfect example. Let me just mark this out so that I can do a quick try on it. So what I'm going to do is, I'm actually going to use the other one. I'm going to kind of line that up here to this edge, and I want it to kind of be as straight lined as possible, and kind of hold it in place. I'm going to mark the top and bottom holes only for right now. Oops, look at that, told me I was done. And then I'm going to go ahead, get my drill with that 1/8 drill bit, and start drilling it through. You'll see really fast that my drill is going to go in maybe like 1/4 of an inch and then stop. And that's because it's hitting that metal. So I'll just put a little bit more power into it and then drill that out. Right there, already done. So now I'll press into it and get that hole made. Same thing up top. Now I'm going to go ahead, get my screws, and I'm going to secure this part in place so that I know where to put everything else at. And you can feel it bite when that screw starts hitting the metal. So it's getting on there nice and tight. So that already is on there pretty good. But I'm going to go ahead and put that extra screw there just to have that safety net. Just like that, already part of the way done. So next, go ahead, get this bit and line it up. I don't know if you can see with that angle, but make sure that this ball right here is right smack centered with this latch here. And go ahead, straighten this part out, you know, because obviously it could be centered, but you see there that can go all wonky. So make sure that you've got this as straight as possible and parallel to this latch over here. Go ahead, take your marker and mark out those holes. And next we'll go ahead and drill them out. So I went a little off on that one, so I'm going to probably make that the last one to get a screw to make sure everything else stays lined up. I am going to put this screw in there, but I'm not going to tighten it down all the way. you can see now, well, if I unlock my door, now it'll open, close easy, flip that, now it's not gonna open. And you see with a chain, you would have a lot of that hang, that droop that could make you just be able to pull and pop tight. That's one of the reasons why I use longer screws on this, and then I like this latch because it holds that in place. Like that's not moving. It's not budging at all. All right, say you live in a spot where you can't drill holes at, right? Maybe the landowner or homeowner isn't allowing you to do that. They do sell these other little latch locks, latch style locks. I don't know what to call these. I'll have the link in the description below. But they do sell these type of locks, and these locks are meant to go on pretty much any door. So let's say your restroom door, for example, or your laundry room door, a door that just has a knob without an actual lock. You don't have to do anything but just have one of these. These are great. They're really small, they're really compact. Keep them with you in your bag, in your pocket, in your purse. Take it with you wherever you go. Keep it in the car so that if you're going to make a trip somewhere, you know, you've got one of these and you can lock, like I said, pretty much any door that's got a knob on it. So the way that this works is you'll figure out which style latch you're using. So in this case, I'm going to use the bottom one, and you see that it's got that shape that matches this shape up front. So here it's got this little flap right there. What you're gonna do with that, let me bring the camera over here. What you're gonna do with that is you are going to insert that right here and kind of match it up. So you can see that that matches with the hole, right? So that's step one. Step one, match that piece up with the hole. Then you'll close the door, and you can see that, well, there you go. Now you can see that the door is closed properly, even with this being there in the way. So next you want to go ahead, and again, let me move the camera over a little bit so you can see better. Next, you're gonna take this little part that's hanging here, get that little screw or bolt head or whatever to go in that spot right there, and then line this flat edge up with your door and push down. And it's really that easy. And that will actually prevent your door from being able to open. Now you can see here, I don't have that latch on there. I don't have this locked. My bottom handle doesn't lock. That is not going anywhere. And then just to undo it, pull that bit off and then open your door like regular. So these things, I bought mine. It was a 2-pack for I think $21. You can get them a lot cheaper. You don't need a 2-pack. You can just have one. It's really up to you. But super cheap, super inexpensive, requires no drilling, no screws, nothing. So now I'm going to show you an even more inexpensive trick to that latch style lock. This involves the use of a fork and a rubber band, or just any type of elastic, really, like a hair tie. What you want to do here is you want to take one of these stainless steel forks. You don't want plastic or anything that can break very easy. You want to take one of these stainless steel forks, insert it here into that latch, measure out a line. You know, you can get a permanent marker and mark a line out there to figure out how much of the prong actually goes into the latch. In this case, you can see that much of it goes into my latches here. Now, I'm not going to do it with this fork because I've already got one done, and my wife got on me the last time for wasting her forks. So I will show you with the one that I already have done. So a couple things that you need to do is at that line, you're going to want to bend the prongs back. So you can see I already did that here. And then other thing that you want to do is you want to get that handle and break the handle off. If you don't have any metal cutting tools, you can just bend it back and forth multiple times to stress and heat up that metal in order to get it to snap, and then just clean up those edges a little bit. So kind of similar to the other lock, you're going to want to put this and hook that into the latch first, and then you'll want to close your door on that, and then you're going to want to take the handle of that bit and stick it through, feed it through the fork. So you can see right there, it just feeds right through. And take your rubber band, and this is very important, take your rubber band and just kind of figure out a way to get these to hook together a little bit, right? What you could do, and I might end up doing, is cut a little notch into the back part of this handle, and then probably bending this little end bit back a little bit. And you want to put a lot of tension on this, because what that's going to do is that's going to prevent it from wiggling out. If you were to pull that door, you know, right now you see that it's not going anywhere. So same exact thing as that lock. For what, you could pick up a fork for like 59 cents or something at the store. If you didn't have this on here, and I'll show you, if you didn't have that elastic band or whatever to keep tension on it, and you just had that there, you can already see that it's loose, so it wiggles around, and all it would take is just a couple of times of wiggling before you got that thing open. So that elastic band to keep tension on there is very important. All right, so every home here in my complex has one of these sliding glass doors to the backyard. Not all of them come with this little drop-down security bar. What this is it's a bar that actually attaches right over there on the wall, as you can see, and it just drops down. It prevents the door from being able to slide open. So if somebody's trying to open that door up, you can see that that bar stops. Now, the unfortunate thing is that not every house has that. So one of the things that you can do is right down here in this little slot, you can put a bar yourself. Now, you can be fancy and go with something metal, or you can just be inexpensive, which is what I'm going to show you today, and just do wood. You can go to Home Depot and you can pick up some wooden dowels, which are basically just wooden rods, and cut one up to size and put it there. Or you can also go, and if you want to go even cheaper, just get a regular board, like a 2x4 or something, cut it up to size and put it there. All right, so as you saw, I went ahead and got my wooden dowel and I cut it up to size. So real easy, all you gotta do now is just place it there. How simple is that? So this dowel right here, for example, this one's a pretty thick one, but you can get this one at Home Depot for less than $2 a foot. And you can see there, you don't need much just to be able to block this off. Now, I've already got that bar off of the window here. You can see that latch for it. And you can see that that door is not going to open. It's not going to budge because you've got that there blocking the way. So another thing that I wanted to talk about is cameras. Now, I know that home security systems are getting pretty expensive, especially to get like exterior cameras. But I wanted to do a quick talk about this small little camera right here. Now, this is called a Wyze Cam, which is spelled W-Y-Z-E. And it is an interior camera for indoor use. However, you know, get it for dual purpose. You know, I like it because it's got this stand. It's got an integrated stand. It's on a swivel, so you can point it in any direction that you need to. You can mount it up on the wall, have it looking sideways and whatnot. It is wired, so it's got one wire, which is just the power cord. It uses this micro USB style plug. And this camera here is only $25. For $25, you get yourself a Wi-Fi cam. It can hook up to the app on your phone. You can check it at any time. You can insert an SD card. If you see right down there is the slot for the SD card, so that you can record all the footage that was happening. And what I do is I have a couple of these around the house pointed outside. So they're by windows, they're looking outside, so my backyard is covered, my front yard is covered. I don't have a side, but if I did, I would have cameras pointing that way. So I've got eyes on my vehicles, I've got eyes on my porch, I've got eyes on my backyard. I can see if anybody's trying to look back there or get back in there. And like I said, each one is only $25. Get as many as you need. You can hook them all up to the app. You can check out the footage at any time, anywhere, because like I said, this thing hooks up to Wi-Fi and connects that way. You could also go and just pull out the SD card that's in the back and check that out too if you wanted to. So the next thing I wanted to show was this motion sensor light that I've got outside. Now this light, I know I said everything was going to be $25 or less. This light was $5 more. It was $30 at Home Depot. However, there are others like it that are cheaper, like at Walmart and such. One thing that I like about this light is that it's got two lights, one on this side and one on this side, and you can move them, manipulate them, point them any direction that you want. So if I wanted it more that way and more that way, I could do that. If I wanted it pointing up, further down, I can do that as well. And the motion detector on this thing is great. I can be about, I think it's 20 feet to the actual street, and cars will be passing by at night and they'll set off that motion light. It is LED, it is battery operated, so you don't have to worry about messing with any wires or anything like that. You just plug in, I want to say it was 4D batteries, and you're good to go. I think I've had the batteries in this one for probably about 6 months now, and it's still working pretty good, and they are the Ever-Ready brand batteries. So really like it, highly recommend it. You should definitely get one of these to light it up a little bit more, especially if you're worried about saving energy in your light bill. All right, so the last thing that I want to talk about before we close this video out is some of these Dollar Tree alarms. So these things, they've got a little sticky pad back here on each side, and it's got a little magnetic contact in there on each side. So whenever those things are making contact, it's silent. You can pick these up at Dollar Tree for $1. Isn't that crazy? You can stick these on doors, you can stick these on windows, you can stick it pretty much anywhere that you want to hear. Your refrigerator, if you want to know if people are snacking without your consent and stuff like that. You know, who's stealing the eggnog, because we're in this festive time where, you know, eggnog is finally available. I'm so happy about that. It's got two little arrows right here, so you'll see that those two arrows line up. You'll go ahead, turn this alarm on. Maybe I should line it up correctly. So it's lined up, and whenever, let's pretend it's on a window, whenever that magnetic strip loses contact, it'll start chirping. It's not extremely loud, but it is noticeable, and it is pretty annoying too. So you should be able to hear that in your own home, or neighbors nearby should be able to hear that if one of your doors or windows have been open. So quick recap on what we talked about. Putting in longer screws into your clasps for your locks. We talked about putting in that hook and loop latch. We talked about the that universal door lock. We talked about using a fork for that. We cut a dowel rod. You could use that on your sliding door. You can use that, for example, here in this house, we've got the sliding windows that go left to right instead of up and down, so you can use it there also. Talked about these little alarms here. Look at that, crazy that the sirens are going on in the background. I don't know if you can hear them. So we're in the holiday time with Christmas around. I don't know if you can tell by the light, by the Christmas lights I had, but that's another thing we talked about was the motion light and the cameras. Break-ins are happening a lot. I'm constantly hearing sirens around here. People are constantly throwing it up in the Facebook page. So be mindful. Be careful about what you're posting online, because that could make your home or you a target. Make sure you're always locking your doors. Make sure that you're locking your windows. You can do little inexpensive things like all these other little tips and tricks that I showed. And there are other little things that can help you, like I said, make your home a little bit more secure. So hopefully y'all like this video. Hopefully you've learned a thing or two about a thing or two. If you did, please give me a like, comment, share, and or subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. You can find me on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I'm trying to get all caught up with this media stuff. So, yeah. Hopefully we'll see you guys the next time that Julian does it.